Hello everybody and welcome to the JR Saga podcast. We are at episode number 2. It's been really fun making the first episode, and I wish to continue making more episodes. It's much easier for me to organize my thoughts, my ideas, whenever I want to review a record or just talk about a certain topic. But much like last episode, today we're going to be reviewing another record, actually 2 albums and a video game. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Vince Staples project, Ramona Park Broke My Heart, and I'm going to be reviewing the new EST GEE and 42 Dugg joint, the last ones left. And the video game I'll be talking about later on will be Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. But yeah, anyway, let's jump right into it. So Vince Staples, as I said in the beginning, dropped a new record titled Ramona Park Broke My Heart. You guys probably know that I reacted to his last record, the self-titled record, Vince Staples. It was a short, concise, I think it was around 26 minutes of length. It was really short, and when I was reacting to it, it was kind of awkward for me because I haven't really listened to a Vince Staples project, but I've been planning to, but I just haven't really gotten into the mood to re-listen to Vince Staples project until last year when I reacted to it, and I thought it was a pretty good record. I mean, even though it was a very short record, maybe some of the ideas didn't fully blossom to what it could have been. I still really liked it, and I placed it, I think, relatively high in my favorite albums of the year list. And there were some bops in there that were really cool, and I listened to the project I think a week or 2 ago, and it just grew on me even more, so even better for me. But yeah, I was really hyped for this project. I listened to the singles, Magic featuring Mustard. I wasn't a huge fan of it initially when I listened to it, but when I listened to it, having, I guess, the whole vibe of the project in mind, I kind of grew on me. And I also listened to Rosa Street, I believe his name. I might be saying it wrong, or Rose Street. I really liked it because it just reminded me of Vince in his own little headspace, really saying whatever he wants to say, and it just matches the beat perfectly. I also like the theme, though. He's saying that he's married to the game. He can't really commit to a relationship because he's sort of scared to go and do that route, because really all he knows around him is just the game, where he grew up, the streets he grew up, the people he knows. He can only trust his homies. He can't really trust a stranger. Going into this record, I was pretty hyped because, as I said earlier, there were some times where I felt that the last record didn't blossom. There's some ideas that didn't blossom because it was too short, even though some of the ideas sort of grew on me. But I don't know, I felt that maybe Vince coming up with the longer record, I guess a 14 track record with a longer runtime would probably be the cherry on top and evolve from the previous project. So I came in with that mindset, and the question is, did he evolve? I would say yes and no, in a sense. I mean, it's like, I would say it's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Starting off with this record, we have the track titled The Beach. It is, I think, like a minute long. Honestly, for a really short track, it sets the mood for this record. It gives you this really nice, simplistic, vibey beat. We see Vince Staples discussing more about his issues, just like he did really in his last project. Trust issues. There's a lot of things that I guess are reminiscent of what really occurred in his previous project, so I won't really go over the exact same things as the lyrics. I would just say it's typical Vince Staples stuff. But the following track, A, Free the Homies, the transitions were honestly very, very nice. I would say that the hook and the chorus feels more established. Even I would say it's a bit more established than the other tracks in the self-titled record. I would even say that. It's a fun, charismatic beat. It sounds like Vince Staples has ADHD in this track because he's like jumping around left and right. But yeah, lyric-wise, he's talking about free the homies. I just wish that my homies are free, that my homies are living the same life I am. I'm happier and stuff like that, but I wish that my homies can, I wish that I can share my happiness with the homies. But yeah, I'm gonna go more over an overall spectrum of things. I'm not going track by track, and it might feel endless at some degree. But overall with this record, as I said, there's some times where the chorus is pretty well established, a bit well structured compared to his recent record. But there are some times where ironically the hook just isn't the best thing going on with the track. I guess a great example of this would be DJ Quick, where there is sort of a foundation in the track, but some of it kind of feels like hollow in a sense. Like, I don't know, like the beat, it's okay, it's vibey like his other stuff, but I don't think he's putting in as much charisma or as much work as I said, A Free the Homies, where he's just really going his ADHD mode and he's jumping left and right. Great ad-libs, even like Rose Street for instance. But I just think that DJ Quick is almost like that filler track that if you eliminate it and nothing really changes, like I guess not even the concept of this changes. I'm sorry if I'm jumping left and right when it comes to what parts I'm discussing about the record, but I wanted to also discuss about the title, which I guess explains the concept, which is Ramona Perk Broke My Heart. I said this in my reaction / review of Self-Titled, where I was talking about I was saying that Vince Staples is rapping more and is more focused about the block he grew up with, the relationships he has established with his homies, you know, his friends, his peers, his family overall, and how he seems, I guess, stuck in that level, and how he can't really escape, how he can't really break that thing up, because it's really a part of him. He can't really break that thing because he feels that he's breaking a part of himself in exchange. And that's why he has trust issues with people, strangers, with people he doesn't know, because the only people he knows are people around his street, his block. And I think part of Ramona Park Broke My Heart is the concept of how he kind of lost his innocence in exchange, how thanks to this, it kind of made him doubt strangers, other people who he isn't really familiar with that are not a part of his block. That's just kind of a theory that I have, but I think it develops a bit more in this record. And as I said, it just develops in the Vince Staples, in a typical Vince Staples way that we already listened to in Self-Titled and probably other tracks that you listen to by Vince Staples. But I think this time it goes a bit more retrospective and expands slightly a bit more. A thing that I enjoyed from the Self-Titled record were these like short little interludes where it was just like almost like a confession, like a voice memo, I guess you could say. The thing that I like about that thing, the thing that I liked about that aspect, it added a bit more to the concept of the record. It's almost like if you were getting confessions from like your friends or people around your block, you know, telling their stories, their point of views of how it was dangerous and how you know, it's crazy. It's almost like the Wild West in here. How it's tough for us to live. How it's tough for us to live in the residence or in the block as a whole. And I kind of like that because it added a bit more of that realistic approach and that sort of image, the mental image that the listeners will be building once they listen to the record. Definitely a pro that I wanted to mention is that this record is really, really vibey. When it really tries to aim for the vibe, it executes it pretty damn well. I guess a great example of this is I've already said this, Magic. As I said, I listened to it again when I was listening to the record, and it just grew on me even more because it matched more of the style, and I sort of got it, and it just grew on me. Another one would definitely be Lemonade, featuring Ty Dolla $ign, which honestly he really killed it with the background vocals in there. It gave me this really sunny, summerish type of vibe, which honestly Vince Staples does not shy away from that. This guy always aims for that summer vibe, going to the beach or just riding in your car. It just gives you this like summer beach or just chill type of vibe. And it just sounds like I'm saying this bunch of tags from a YouTube video, but yeah, it just reminds you of that. It just reminds you of just not thinking that much, playing something that just fits the vibe and the summer day, or just something you want, like something sunny. And that's what I like about it, because Vince's music matches the tone when it comes to just chilling, not thinking that much, or just walking outside, or just trying to vibe. That's what I like about it. It's not necessarily music that you need to like overthink, you know, to I guess like it in a sense. Another track that I really liked was Paper Cuts and Other vibey track. I also really liked Play Your Ways. Honestly, the lyrical content is kind of funny. Him saying, you know, I went through my player ways to get what I want, I'm always, you know, attracting every girl that I see. It's like, it's a player, basically a player ways. I used my ways to get what I want. But yeah, I would say also another track that I really liked was When Sparks Fly, man, was that beat crazy. It like the first time I listened to that beat, it just gives me goosebumps, honestly. Like the vocal sample is perfect. The whole beat kind of sounds like dark, ambiental in a sense, and compared to other tracks in this record, it's almost like an odd one out. It really is. And honestly, I am completely up for it because it just, I don't know, it just matches Vince's lyrics, the lyrical content, stating this sort of this sort of Bonnie and Clyde relationship where he wants to protect this girl, but he fears that he should. But he fears that if he does protect this girl, he might be in danger, and then the both of them might come into a situation where they might risk their life in a sense. I don't know. It reminded me of this Bonnie and Clyde relationship where it's we're ride or die. I'm gonna protect you no matter what, but there's also consequences in my decision. It reminded me of that, and as I said, the freaking beat, the instrumental layering over these lyrics, it's freaking godlike. It's almost like a cloak. Like it's almost like if Vince Staples was wearing this beat as a cloak, and it's just covering him up, and it's just like pure darkness, and he's just trying to like, I guess, defend himself from all the issues he's confronting. It sounds really, really over like analyzing it, but it's just exactly what I pictured when I was listening to it. But yes, out of that thing, I will say there were some other tracks where I felt like this is not really my vibe, and it just feels a bit empty. East Point Prayer is kind of unfortunate because you're having a Lil Baby feature, and I did not expect Lil Baby and Vince Staples to collaborate ever. I did not, but I guess here we are. My issue with the track is that, as I said with DJ Quick, it just feels kind of hollow, like something is missing. I feel like Vince Staples just did not bring the energy. Like, honestly, I think he was a bit toned down in this record. I think he was a bit toned down in this track compared to the other tracks that there are in this record alone. It just feels like aside of the lyrical content not really grasping my attention, as I said, his flow, his charisma just isn't there. It's kind of underwhelming. And Lil Baby actually tries to elevate it a little bit more, and I gotta give him credit. His verse was honestly decent, but I don't know. It just doesn't match the style. It just doesn't really come together to it. Another example would be Bang That featuring Mustard again. Honestly, another example of that would be Bang That featuring Mustard. It's not really Mustard's fault. I think the beat is okay. It's pretty cool, but man, Vince just kind of sounds bored a little bit. And I will say, Vince kind of sounds a bit bored. I would say mostly the last like 5 or 6 tracks in the record, he kind of sounds a bit bored and kind of burned out of ideas. I mean, there are some exceptions in those final 6 tracks, maybe like Player Ways, Lemonade, The Blues, and Rose Street maybe. But if we're looking at tracks like Mama's Boy and Bang That, it just feels a bit lackluster. The thing is that there were some great ideas. It could have been very vibey tracks, but again, my issue that I stated in East Point Prayer, Vince isn't really giving me that much energy, and he just kind of sounds a bit run down in these tracks. I don't know if that was the purpose or not, but it just wasn't necessarily for me. Some tracks that do match the vibe would be tracks like Paper Cuts, and even the fantastic closer, which is The Blues. Honestly, what I liked about The Blues is that, sure, the chorus can be a little bit repetitive, just him saying the same thing again, but what I like about it is that it sends it off with it ties it up pretty nicely with the core message of it, stating that I'm a ride or die person. I will die for my blog. I will die for it. I need everybody to pray with me. I need everybody to pray for me because right now I'm sort of lost in the world. I'm not where I used to. I'm not in my hometown. And I need all the love and support. If something goes down, I need people to pray for me. I need my homies to, be by my side to, help me out if I ever feel any down. Honestly, I think it's a great tie-up for this record. It's a bit more retrospective, a bit more serious compared to some tracks in here. It honestly, as I said, great send-off for the album. But overall, Ramona Park broke my heart. It's not bad. It's honestly not bad. Aside of some glaring issues that I might have said, it might sound like I'm bashing the record, I still think it's worth a listen. Honestly, I do like it. I really do like it. I guess some issues subside more on the aspect of there were just some tracks in here that kind of felt empty, a bit hollow. But when it does have its high points, it does redeem itself in a way. Even when it gets a bit too serious, and even when it gets really vibey. I mean, honestly, those are the redemption points from this record. So if you want vibey, summery, I don't want to say popish, but I guess bopish, if that's even a word, type of record, definitely give this record a listen. I know I'm definitely going to be bumping some songs from this record during summer. I mean, summer is what, 2 months? I mean, at least here it's like next month or something. I'm definitely going to be pumping some records, some songs in here. There is some really good, there is really some feel good songs in here that honestly just made me feel good. So yeah, I'm definitely bumping some songs from here. So yeah, what would I give this Vince Staples record? I'm thinking more of a 7 to a 7.5 out of 10. It's really a solid record. There's a few bumpy points throughout the record, and sure, it kind of breaks the consistency for a few tracks. But honestly, it's overall worth a listen, and I can't wait for what Vince Staples has in the future planned, honestly. So now we're going to move on to the second album that I'd like to discuss. I want to discuss this new SG and 42 Dugg record, Last Ones Left. So I've been following SG since last year's breakout mixtape, Bigger Than Life or Death, which honestly had a lot of trap of bops in it. It was like some hardcore stuff. I freaking loved that Lick Back remix he had with Young Thug and Future, and there were some other tracks in here that were very notable, like Ria Dada. As I said, there were some notable tracks from that record. I was gonna put him in the best albums of the year list. For some reason, I forgot and I did not put him. I don't know. It's like a lot of albums. I don't know why I forgot to put him, but I did put in the comments, that it was definitely worth checking out. But yeah, I really liked that mixtape a lot. I kind of gave a foundation for SG, and I was really excited for what he was gonna have in the future. But yeah, a few weeks ago he decided to publish tracks back to back with 42 Dugg, which honestly is a kind of unexpected collaboration. Well, not unexpected. He did do that Degree song, which was a bop as well, and 42 Dugg killed it in there. But I did not know that they had like this sort of bond or collaboration in mind. But yeah, they're releasing tracks back to back. They originally released Free the Shiners, which initially I wasn't so sold on it because I just felt it was a bit too short. But the more I listened to it, the more it grew on me. And man, that is a trap bop. Like that thing is just like the drums have this heavy ass 808. The bars they are like the bars they share in here. It's just so hardcore, and it gives like this hard feeling, like I'm already in the trap zone right now. Like this is just like some hardcore. They also released 2 other songs which I thought were very good as well, and honestly just built up so much hype. I never knew it was going to be extremely hype for an SG and 42 Dugg project, but here we are. 17 tracks, Jesus Christ, 39 minutes of runtime if I'm not mistaken. So I honestly think this record is pretty good. Honestly, it has some highlights attached to it, and there are also some moments where it's kind of like filler like in a sense. But yeah, anyway, the third track, Ice Talk, another hard bop, like really hard aggressive bop. You're talking about Ice flexing, but I think the special thing that 42 Dugg and SG has with this, during this record, and I guess as a collaborative duo, what I would say is mostly their energy and their vibe. Like none of them seem turned down or lazy. They just seem hungry, aggressive. Like they want to just be on top of their game. That's what I always liked about SG when I first listened to that breakout mixtape. He just sounded hungry. He sounded like he wanted to devour the entire game. And I love rappers like this. Rappers that strive to be greater than what they are. Even if they're just like in the first level, they want to go to the freaking 10th level. They want to bring it up 100 notches up. And I like rappers like this. SG sounds extremely powerful. And almost all of these tracks whenever he appears. 42 Dugg as well. Spin, for instance, I would say 42 Dugg has it in the bag, man. How he delivered that chorus, that thing was some next level stuff. It also reminded me of this like West Side type of piano melody. Like the riff that's in the background goes crazy. Honestly, it's just really cool. I guess an issue that I have with this record that sort of halts the consistency of this record from time to time would be some songs that have no correlation to the record in general. For instance, there is Strictly for the Gangsters, which is by EST GEE, which is not a bad song or anything, but it's like, this is an SG and 42 Dugg record. I don't want to hear like, other rappers as, their main song. I want to hear just them for 17 tracks. So I guess sometimes, when it's not SG and 42 Dugg rapping, it's a bit awkward and weird, and as I said, it's like I don't want to hear you, I kind of want to hear them. It's like that's the main selling point. That's really the only reason why I came to this record. But I get it. I guess I'm trying to like show more publicity, show more publicity, get them more exposure, since they, or I guess as rappers, have gotten slightly more exposure than them. I get it. They're showcasing the homies. Nothing wrong with that. I guess they're putting them on. But yeah, as I said, there are some bops in here. Like I Never Judge You. It's a really short track, but honestly, they just go so hard in it, which is it's almost impossible to not like. But yeah, as I said, I know this is like kind of like a very, very short review. I just don't want to make this thing like 40 or 15 minutes long. But yeah, I guess the overall gist of this record is it's not your typical trap record. It's slightly more aggressive. You're definitely going to be walking around with a handful of trap bangers that are going to be bumping in your car just when you're working out or when you feel like you just want to get lit. There's definitely some tracks in here that will turn it up a notch, will definitely get you pumped, energized. Definitely look out for SG. He is just getting better and better and better as an artist, and honestly, I can see him as one of the faces of this hardcore aggressive trap in general. Like honestly, I can see him. And 42 Dugg, as I said, did a great collaboration. Honestly, I recommend you give this album a listen. It's pretty good. What would I rate it? I would give it 7.5. Honestly, as I said, there are some great moments in this record. Sure, it sometimes gets overshadowed by some tracks that it's like, I'm just want to hear 42 and SG. I don't want to hear for, your other friend here who's rapping. I mean, it's not that it's trash or anything, but, I came here mostly for these two guys, not for the other guys. So I'm going to be ending off this episode with one final review. I'm sorry if that last review was very short and just kind of like all over the place. I kind of want to give them a shout out. They've been on the grind for SG and 42 Dugg have been in the grind for quite a while, and I felt like it was appropriate for shouting them out. But yeah, I'm going to end this up with a game review. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I've had so many memories with the older games, like the complete saga. I remember playing it in PS2, the Wii, I think the Nintendo DS as well. I've had whole freaking adventures with these games. They've been a part of my childhood, like my essence when it comes to gaming and stuff like that. Honestly, those Lego Star Wars games were always really damn fun to play with. I remember sticking in so many hours playing with my cousin and friends. But the question that a lot of people have, is the Skywalker Saga, which is more remastered. It's basically a remake of the 9 Star Wars films involving the Skywalker family. Will it be as great as the original games? Like, will it live up to that hype? And honestly, I think it did live up to the hype. There were some people that were, a little bit suspicious that this game was going to be another cash grab. Will not flesh out well the elements that made the original games such a classic or things like that. But honestly, I think for a modern day Star Wars, Lego Star Wars game, this is freaking great. This is like honestly really, really good. Like what they did here was great. I was literally playing this game for the entire weekend, Saturday through Sunday, just 2 days flat out playing this game. As I said, 9 movies. It's 9 movies in this game. It's like every episode is like their own little world in a sense, which is honestly very cool. It's almost like the same as the original games. It has the same humor, but now with the addition of voice acting. And if you don't want the voice acting, you can always switch to mumble mode. That was also iconic with the classic games. I decided to go with the voice acting because I always wanted to try it out. Maybe just tells the story a bit better. And honestly, the voice acting is very solid, and the jokes and the humor just lands perfectly well. Like I'm freaking 16 and I'm laughing at some humor that some 6-year-old kid would laugh at. Like it's honestly that great, and it's smart as well. Like how it develops the jokes and how it sort of makes fun. It's how it sort of pokes at some of the iconic characters in the show. How it pokes at some of the iconic characters at the movies. It's honestly very smart. I mean, one of the smartest things of the humor, I would say, was with Kylo Ren, which they kind of make him an angsty teen. Which honestly, that's exactly how I thought of Kylo Ren when I was watching the sequel movies. Like I just thought of him as an angsty, always angry teen who's always just power hungry and never gets what he wants. You know, I just pictured him that way, and how just the Lego Star Wars game pictured him, it was just perfect. It was flat out perfect and amazing. As I said, the humor sticks, the humor lands well. It was part of the identity of the Lego Star Wars games, and I'm glad that they managed to stick it well without making it cringy or whatnot. I will say the difficulty is obviously extremely easy. I mean, it's more catered towards kids, and I definitely get that. I kind of wish there was a difficulty setting, you know, because it gets way too easy. Like I think the game is way too easy, and it probably is because I've been playing games for freaking ever, and I already know how they roll. The puzzles again are very predictable. They're not, you know, that like, you know, Portal 2 type puzzles, and that's completely fine as it's a kids game. I just wish that there was a difficulty setting, because I can bump it up maybe to, I guess, to hard or normal to make it, I guess, a bit more enjoyable. But instead of that, gameplay wise, it's fun. It's really fun playing as the Jedis. But yeah, honestly, it was really fun playing that. I guess my only complaint with that is that there's kind of a lack when it comes to classes. Mostly the blaster, but most of the people who wield the blasters, it just kind of feels a bit generic because they don't really have any redeeming ability. Like they don't really have any redeeming ability. They just like shoot the freaking blaster. It's not like a, you know, blaster redeems itself compared to other ones. I guess that's my only minor complaint to it. The Jedis as well. I mean, there were some that were like extremely cool, but there could have been, I guess, sort of a difference when it comes to their abilities as well. Boss fight wise, it was honestly really fun and cool. The level creation, the level design is honestly crazy, which is also part of the identity of the old Lego Star Wars game. Is the freaking designs, the level designs, how the levels were constructed were just flat out amazing. They were great to look at, and honestly fun to play through. Like it's just extremely fun to play through, as I said. And I like that they kept the integrity here. And I also am aware that they are, you know, squishing 9 films into one game for a price of $50. It's honestly a cash grab instantly. Like it's honestly really, really good. But part of it feels nostalgic bait. Part of it is a fantastic nostalgia bait for sure. It 100% is a fantastic nostalgia bait. But yeah, as I said, I do understand they had to rush some certain aspects of the episodes. Like I guess trying to put it in more nutshell, and the story is, I guess, all over the place, and some parts are missing because, you know, they expect you to have already watched the films, which is fine because I'm pretty sure the main demographic are just Star Wars fans. Honestly, I really like this game. I spent like 16.5 hours in the main story alone, which is crazy. It sucked up my entire weekend. Like it was like my weekend almost in a nutshell, and I'm not complaining. Honestly, a great, fantastic experience. Definitely recommend playing if you really like if you really love the original Star Wars games, or just like Lego games in general. What would I give this game? I would give it an 8 out of 10. Great nostalgia train. It was great to look at these levels. It was great to look at these characters once more. And honestly, what I was thinking as well is that it also gives the newer players experiences. Like I would say the younger kids who haven't played the PS2 who hasn't played the PS2 version of the Lego Star Wars games. It just opens more doors. You know, I guess it gives them it gives them memories. That's what I wanted them to give. I'm pretty sure part of the main aspect of this is giving the newer players, the newer demographic, memories. You get the gist. Great game, fantastic nostalgia bait, as I said. And that's all I had to say for today's episode. It was quite a handful of things. I'm sorry if I rushed some certain aspects. I just do not want to keep on talking forever. My throat is completely dry. Pause. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm having a blast making these episodes, and hopefully you guys are having a blast listening to these episodes as well. And if you guys really want me to keep on going with this, please drop a like. Please leave the comments down below. Tell me what you want to see in the podcast, what you want to see next up. And yeah, please subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you don't miss an upload from me. And yeah, peace out, everybody. Stay safe from COVID.